All right.
Uh, so this interview is gonna be for my history class.
Okie dokie.
And then I kind of sent you some of the things. So I guess say hi to
Yeah,
my
I I I read through the questions and got the gist. So, but I didn't memorize the question. So,
That's fine. I
okay.
have them.
Then, all
Okay.
right.
We can start. Okay. My interview today is gonna be with my auntie. Her name is Pastor Glenda Horner. And this is her. And let's see, we'll start today. First question is, what is a tradition that has been passed down for generations?
Okay. One tradition I know for sure is that um, we always we celebrate at least once a year. It's kind of like a mini reunion, but we celebrate the holidays really big, you know. And I think the biggest one that we celebrate is Christmas. That's when everybody comes, everybody brings food, everybody brings gifts, um, and they stay for a long, long time, sometimes maybe days. So if
Mm.
you see them carrying a little night bag, you know that they're gonna shower at your house. So that is the biggest one. That is the biggest tradition for
Oh,
sure.
that's cool. I didn't know that. Let's
Yeah.
see. Let's see. Question number 2. Do you happen to know where any of our ancestors were prior to 1922? So it's like
Okay.
before Apple was born.
Yeah. Well, um, my dad came to Hawaii. I forget what year. Hala. But before he came, his uncles, and aunts came. So that is the Kurameng side. Yeah. So Apo Sefa
Hmm.
guys, um, especially Apo Apo Lakay, I forget his name, but Apo Marcos. He was the
Hmm.
first one to land in the plantation in Gay and Robinson, and then all his brothers and sisters followed. Not all of his brothers and sisters, but the younger ones didn't come until later, until Hawaii was annexed, and
Oh, okay.
that was like 1918. So not not
Okay.
too,
That far. Yeah.
yeah, not that far in, for 4 or 5 week 4 or 5 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. I'm learning a lot.
Okay.
Was there anyone in the family tree that you wanted to meet? Like you never got a chance to meet them, but you heard about them, but you wanted to meet
Oh
them?
my, yes, absolutely. On my father's side, the Pasol and Kurameng side, I would have loved to meet my grandfather, which would
Mm.
be your great grandfather.
Mm.
We never met him. He died on Christmas Day,
Oh.
I believe, and we never met him. And Dad never saw him again after he left
Oh.
the
Mhm.
Philippines in Pasukin. Yeah. Now on mom's side, which is the Lagaso and Villaren side, same thing. My grandfather died after Pearl Harbor was bombed. He was one of the caretakers. He was a groundskeeper, and
Mm.
unfortunately, the area where uh, they were cleaning had live ammo.
Oh.
So they were picking it up, and back in the day, they didn't have any kind of hazmat or
Mm.
special
Yeah.
squad or whatever. Yeah, SWAT. whatever. And so
Oh,
yeah, he died in an explosion. Yeah. Yeah, those two is my two grandfathers. I would have loved to
yeah,
meet them. Yeah.
that's cool. Let's see. Next one is, what is the most precious heirloom that you've seen?
Oh
Either
my.
passed down from generation. Well, that would be heirloom, right? Passed down for generations. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the heirlooms that have come down, I mean, from the Philippines, I know that even if we never met our grandfather, um, they used to send these little bags. They were like bamboo. They were made out of bamboo, and your mom and I always got a bamboo basket when the family would go back to the Philippines, and they would bring to here, yeah. And she was not she was, but my our grandmothers on both sides lived in the Philippines until maybe early. No, I would say no. Apo Sefa, my
Mm.
grandmother on my father's side, she lived. She came to the United States in 1971,
Oh
and
wow.
so yeah, so they would bring that. So that was kind of like an heirloom.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing else except for the fact that the stories that came, and
Mm.
the biggest heirloom that we have from your grandfather, my father, is his recipe for smoked meat. You know,
Okay.
he's given them to his nephews,
Mm-hmm.
um and he wrote it down for me. And I don't have a smoker, but I that was the one thing that we could actually uh depend on. That was always, if you talk about passing down heirlooms, that I
Mm-hmm.
think is more important or more fascinating than the bags. And I do have one of the bags. I still use them for my sewing stuff.
Okay.
So so that the little bamboo with the red trim, that
Mm-hmm.
is one. I had that since I was 7 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's old, yeah. Very
Yeah.
old. Yeah.
Uh, oh, here's a good one. What is one of the youngest memories you have from your childhood?
Oh my goodness. Well, when I was one, I remember um, seeing a baby in a box, and the box was very fluffy. I felt it was like, well, to now it's was velvety, right?
Uh-huh.
And the baby in the box is wearing a white dress with a bonnet on it. And my mom told me later that that was my sister. She had died in 1959 because
1950. Right?
the hurricane, the hurricanes hit. Hurricane Dot hit Kauai. Back in the day, never have nothing warning. They never couldn't track it or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. But it hit the hospital, and she was born in August 1959, and she died like 5 days later, 3 to 5 days later, because the incubators were not powered, couldn't be powered, and they didn't have alternative, power at that time in 1959. Yeah, it wasn't really
Mm-hmm.
something that they did. But that is my youngest memory, and I do remember that. um, I can see it, but I didn't know what exactly it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the other one was that your mother was born already. She was the baby, and I was 6 years old. And because mom had to stay in the hospital because she had some complications because of the birth, and your mom was a preemie baby. She was born um, 6 months, 5 months, something like that, and she was real tiny, like 1 pound, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
she couldn't leave the hospital until she was 6 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at that point in time, your apo, my dad, was taking care of me, and I had uncles and aunties living in the house. So I would open my own Campbell soup, and they gave me a chair, and they gave me a pot with a spoon, and all I had to do was wait for the bubbles to come. When the bubbles came, I turned off the stove. I poured it in my bowl, and I ate it. And if I washed the bowl, I had a dessert.
Oh.
I, I had a
It,
dessert anyway. I would sneak anyway, but it's okay. And was usually ice cream, like ice cream.
mhm.
I guess now you guys call it like pops, ice cream pops,
Mm.
but it was like a fudgesicle.
Okay.
And and I think I was small because the thing was huge. It almost looked like 1 pound to me, but now that I'm bigger, things have
Yeah.
shrunk. And I think the other one I remember, and your mom's probably gonna kill me, but when she was a baby, she was so tiny, and her head used to like rock, yeah, kind of like that. And she fit in my dolly stroller, in my
Mm.
doll stroller. And one day, mom said, "Okay, don't play rough, don't play rough, don't play rough." And so I put your mom, my baby sister, I put her in the stroller, and I stuffed it with pillows so that she wouldn't be the kind of all over the place, right? So support.
Mhm.
And then I push forward, pull them back, push forward, pull back, and she was getting a kick. She was just laughing, and when I would stop, she would start to cry. So I go, oh. So I took her all around the house. You've
Mhm.
seen the house. I would go
Mhm.
to go to the bathroom, go to Apu's room, then go to the other side room where Apu Sefa, then around the kitchen and around the living room area, and then she would start to cry.
Mm.
Okay, that was so not right. Then mom busted me. Your grandmother, my mother,
Mhm.
busted me and said, "What you doing?" "Nothing. Uh, playing with sister." And then when she came, and she was so horrified, but she was laughing. Your mom
Yeah.
was laughing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't get baot that day, but other subsequent days when I did it again, then wasn't so lucky. She was so tiny.
Mhm.
I loved it to the max. Okay. Anyway,
Let's see.
there's a lot. There's a lot I remember when I was young. I learned how to
Yeah.
pluck a chicken. I learned how to pluck a chicken, kill a chicken, how to clean fish. This was all before I was 10 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I used to imori, or what do you call, prepare the vegetables.
Mm. Mhm.
And so I did a lot of the one thing I remember was peeling garlic
Mm.
for dad's smoked meats.
Mhm.
I smell like garlic like for weeks, my hands and everything. But that
Mhm.
is good. He good. He good. He get him. It was fun.
That's cool. So you actually answered a couple of the other questions already earlier.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
That's right.
like the family involved with major events. I didn't know the one about great grandpa and the Pearl Harbor. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, we learned about that before my grandmother died.
Okay.
Your great grandmother
Mm.
Genevieve, before she died,
Mm.
she would tell stories about it. Yeah,
Okay.
and then I when I heard the story, I was around 7 or 8,
Mm.
so was easy to remember. I mean, I think I do remember a lot of the childhood stuff that was told me, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was probably the biggest one. So yeah.
And then to wrap it up, did any of our family members have a relationship with Jesus?
Oh yes. Um, everybody somehow, throughout the whole time when I became a Christian in 1970, and
Mm.
that was because um Auntie Nara prayed for me a year, and my cousin Camela and my cousin Patrick would say, "You like it saved? You like it saved?" And I said, "Saved from what?" Right? And then when we were older, teenagers and stuff, um, I had a lot of my cousins, girl cousins, had children out of wedlock,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually came to know Christ along. So it would be probably around late 70s, early 80s is when the bulk
Mm.
of the family turned to Christ.
Okay.
Your mom too, right around that era. Um, the first one though to become a Christian in our family, and this is the extended family, was Ophelia.
Oh, Ethiopia.
Yeah, yeah, Auntie
Oh.
Ophi. She was the first. She used to be in United Church, Assembly of God, and that's how she met Uncle.
Oh,
Uncle
wow.
Val. Yeah. So
Oh.
they were big, big influence. Then when
Mm. Mm.
cousin Esther, guys, when Auntie Esther, Melva, Junie moved to the mainland to go to
Mhm.
school, they got involved with uh, um, not InterVarsity, Campus Crusade, and
Okay.
they met their husbands through there. So Uncle Rick,
Uh,
yeah, so Uncle Rick, Uncle Cleve, Uncle um McCann, I forget his name, Auntie Junie's husband, and then us, here,
mhm.
we started Auntie Barbara, Uncle Keola, Auntie Bev.
Mhm.
It started to splinter out, and your Auntie Sana was very strong believer.
Mhm.
And on the other side of the family, almost everybody was a family. I mean, Auntie Annette, Mike,
Mm.
Alan,
Mhm.
Glennis, Patrick, Camilla, Jeffrey, Jonathan. Um, I don't know today, but
Mm.
for me and Freda, me and your mom, and we have other connections, our other cousins and stuff.
Yeah.
So we've always, we were a Catholic family,
Mhm.
and we don't like step on toes, right?
Yeah.
But we wanted for them to know the truth, but without shoving them down their throat.
Yeah.
We wanted to show them love, and would share truth and with them,
Mhm.
and so it's become not a grudge, and it's not war or anything like that, but they've come to accept us. And
Mm-hmm.
we learned that in Christ, that we are no favorites. There are no favoritism, and
Yep.
there's no condemnation. You know,
Yep.
there is, and we the one that gotta show them peace and love and all that. So
Yep.
right now, um, all families have rifts, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and one side family would be good, and then the other side family wouldn't be good, and that kind. So right now, because of COVID, I think because we couldn't get together the last since 2019, 2019,
Mm-hmm.
2020. This year we don't know yet. Maybe we might have splinters. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's been strained a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, we serve a big God, right? So
Yep.
I just trusting Him for the day stuff.
Amen.
Okay,
And that's actually it. Thank you.
that's you're welcome. And if you want to learn more, you can. I have grandma's recipe box.